How are you today? Okay, I just wanted to pop on and talk to you a little bit about Zoom. Um, a lot of people are using Zoom for meetings, for work, for business, and I thought it would be a good idea just to talk a little bit about Zoom fatigue. I think we've done so many, haven't we? We've done so many Zoom meetings and networking, that sort of thing, since COVID. And it's a brilliant way to communicate. But I think some of us find it difficult to be noticed or to get their point across. You know, you just become this little box on the screen. And so I've just got a few ideas, a few thoughts, things that I do to make sure I'm heard, I guess, and make sure I'm noticed. Um, so the first one is keep the camera on. I know that sounds crazy, but some people actually do turn the camera off, and they'll give a reason why they're turning it off, but really they're just disengaging. And for the rest of the people on the screen, you've gone. You're not part of the meeting. So, if you want to get something from your meetings or from your networking, make sure you keep the camera on. Um, okay, stand out. Okay, now I'm wearing quite a bright top today, and I've done that deliberately to show you that having a bright, having wearing bright clothes actually does make you pop out on the screen. um, I did a meeting a few weeks ago in a grey top, and I could really see the difference. And I started to notice other people who look quite bland, because don't forget you've been reduced down to a little box very often in a meeting, and they're almost forgettable. And so it's something that I always do now. It's not about standing out and showing off. It's about being there and being visible, people noticing that you're part of that conversation. So just bear that in mind. Actually, what you wear can make quite a difference. Um, okay, animation. So most people see just pretty much what you're looking at now. The top of my shoulders, and actually, when you're just listening to other people speaking, it's almost like you're on a still, you know. Um, and in a meeting, in a live meeting, you'd probably be nodding. You'd probably demonstrate to the speaker that you're listening and you're engaged. And so we've got to do that a little bit differently on Zoom. We've got to be a little bit more animated. If you do talk, you can still use your hands. Um, but make sure that you are nodding, and engaging. And sometimes you've got to do it a little bit more obviously than you would normally do, just a little bit, um, so that again you're noticed as being part of that meeting and you're engaged. All right, now this is one that a lot of people mention to me that they find when they're on Zoom, because there's usually a picture of themselves as well as the other person. They often find themselves looking at themselves. They start doing the hair and that sort of thing. Um, yeah, it's also very difficult when you've got 10 people on a Zoom call, or 5 people. Who do you look at? And the technique that I've come up, I found, sorry, is something called the triangular method. You just literally look to the right, look into the middle, look into the left, and down vertically, so that you appear to be engaged and looking at everyone. Okay, otherwise you're just staring at the screen, and again, it looks like a still. So try and use the triangular method so that you are looking at everyone at some point in time, and you're looking more engaged and active in the meeting. Um, and my final tip is use the chat. Okay, so there's a chat facility. If you don't know that, there's a chat facility at the bottom. Click on the chat and you can ask a question. Now, this is really useful, um, because sometimes it's difficult to interject on Zoom. I mean, you'll notice if you try and do that, that it sends the sound a little bit funny. There can only be one person speaking on Zoom at any one time. And if 2 people try to speak, then there's an issue with the sound. So if you want to ask a question or just keep involved in the chat throughout that, if you want to make comments about things that people have said, put it in the chat, because normally it's noticed throughout and people will comment, and again you're brought back into the meeting, um, or they might comment at the end, or respond to you at the end, but it helps you to get more out of that meeting. Okay, and to appear more engaged and part of it. Okay, I hope those tips were useful. Have a really good day, and I'll speak to you soon.